Callum, how are you, buddy? It's
Oh yeah, not bad.
been a while, kid. Where in the world are you?
I'm still in LA. Yeah, I'm at my house in LA. I just got this fucking new coffee machine, and I thought it'd make my life easier. I'm trying to make coffee. I'm just making more of a mess than anything.
So you're trying to learn to be a barista now, is it?
That's it. Yeah, sure. It's habit. She wanted a new coffee machine, so I bought one after the fight, and it's more hassle than anything. I'm
Yeah,
just making a mess. Like I have to grind the beans, and there's grind everywhere, and then you have to do the milk. I'm just making a mess. Like
how are you getting on with the latte art? Can you make the love hearts yet?
nah, no designs. Yeah, it's just the same one every time. Just a blob.
Is it nice? Is it nicer than just making the instant coffee, no?
I, you know what? Like I thought this would be like way nicer coffee, because you get to grind the beans and all that, but it's just tastes the exact same. It tastes the same.
You'll have to do a course for you.
It's just more work than anything. It's just I'm just gonna get rid of it. I'd say.
It'll be worth it in the end. Do a barista course, boy. You'll be laughing.
Yeah, yeah,
You're going to watch the Ireland match in a couple of hours?
I won't I have to go down to one of my sponsors and do so a photo shoot or something for the sponsors, so I won't be able to.
Ah, so you missed that, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us, it's been a while since we last talked. It's been a couple of fights, I think. I think it was before Fernando Vargas we last spoke. Obviously, you've moved to 16-0 since then. You fight a couple of weeks ago, first win under I suppose, the new banner with Dana White, beating Carlos Ocampo. How did you find that performance and how did you find that experience, Callum?
Yeah, the experience was great. Being part of Zuffa Boxing, it's exactly how boxing should be ran. Just how organized everything is. How everyone's treated the exact same. There's no favorites there. Well, there probably is. Like, I would say there's definitely people they want to be stars and win. Who they're encouraging to win.
Hmm.
But in terms of if you lose a fight, they don't care. It's like they just want to see the best fights, and they treat everyone the exact same. We were there, me and my opponent. We both had access to the UFC PI. The Performance Institute, where you get the best of
Hmm.
everything. They provided us with meal preps all week.
Yeah.
They have dietitians there. They have sports scientists there. Giving you advice, giving you um everything, supplements, everything you need, you know what I mean? And I just think it's ran very well, compared to how boxing normally is, where it's very unorganized and, there's one big favorite and the other fella's kind of just thrown off to the side, you know what I mean? Because they want him to be at his worst
Hmm.
and they want their favorite to be at his best, and I feel like Zuffa Boxing here, they wanted everyone to be at their best so they can get the best fights possible, and I think it worked out very well.
Yeah, you sound like you were a lot happier than you were maybe after your previous bout with Vargas, where you said it was kind of like your camp wasn't great and you weren't too
Mhm.
happy with the performance.
Yeah, I was happier with this one, definitely. Carlos, he was an awkward fella to fight. He is very experienced. He had 40 fights. He even made like he fought Fundor, a champion at 154 pounds. He made him look
Hmm.
look very bad too. And he's only lost to the best. He's only lost to three champions when they were champions. You know what I mean? He's only lost in three championship fights, and I don't think anyone has beat him like I did. You know what I mean? Like over just convincingly over 10 rounds. And I felt good. I felt fit in there. I didn't feel like I was that tired at any point of the fight. So I was happy with that. To see that my cardio had improved and my training definitely was a lot better. So yeah, overall I think it was a good win.
Hmm.
Ideally I would have knocked him out. But like Dana said to me after the fight, he was like, "Oh, what's wrong with you now?" And I was like, "Ah," and he was like, "You can't knock them all out. You can't knock them all out." And it's true. You know what I mean? I think I need to realize that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to just go in there and knock them all out. I'm just gonna have to keep getting the wins, and as long as I stay undefeated, that's the main thing. And if not, who cares? I suppose.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah. Talk to me about the Carlos Ocampo fight, though. You were down in round six, which is obviously something quite new for you. What was like that experience like? What was going through your head when that happened?
Yeah, I it was a punch that kind of hit me in the back, and my glove touched the canvas. I don't think it should have been scored and knocked down. It was
That
but
piss
the
you off?
referee. Not really. I was just like it's just it wasn't. Thank God it wasn't a knockdown. That's what I said. At least they called something. Like if it was a knockdown, it could have been a bit different. But at least it hit the punch, kind of hit my back, threw me off balance. My glove just touched the canvas, and the referee has to do his job. If the glove touched the canvas, but I was fine. I wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a legit knockdown because I was fine. I wasn't pissed off or anything. I was just a bit like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was fine. It didn't really make a difference to the fight.
Yeah. You just step up and wait for this as well. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was good. My weight cut was definitely a lot easier. But yeah, it was my first fight at a higher weight class. So like it was good to get the win. At a different weight class too. Considering it was my first fight, and yeah, I'll be just looking forward to the next couple. Just growing into the weight. Yeah, I felt good though. The weight cut wasn't bad or anything. It
Hmm.
was, it was good.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to talk to you in the wake of the comments made by WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman after that fight. I'm sure you've heard them, just a couple of them. He said, "I'm very sorry for Callum Walsh. He relinquished his dream to be WBC champion and kept on going on." He said they make him fight at middleweight. He was dropped. He won a unanimous decision fight, but it's the result was mediocre. What was your response to the comments that he made, Callum?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I had. Do you know what? I haven't even really seen it, to be honest. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say I've relinquished my dreams, to fight for a WBC or anything like that. We don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like we have no idea. I don't know what I can fight for, what I can fight for. I wouldn't say that I have turned away from anything. I definitely would not say that I've relinquished my dreams and stuff like that. I would just say it was natural for me to fight there. It's
Mm,
like I have been signed with Tom Loeffler, and I've always been involved with Dana, and Dana's always been involved in my career. So if they were going to put on uh, a league or create their own organization, it was going to be natural for me to be there. I'm still in contract with them,
mhm,
with Tom. They're over there. 360 Promotions is now there working with Zuffa. So I wouldn't say that I just made a decision like, all right, I'm not going to fight for any other belt. I'm just going to be here. I'm still asking questions. I'm still trying to figure out what I can fight for, what I can't. You know what I mean? And if I can't, then I can't. It's like it's just natural for me to be there with them because that's who has been there with me my whole career.
mm,
And granted, the WBC has been there throughout my career too. Since I
yeah.
won the belt, and they've been great to be a champion over there. And to represent the WBC. I've always done that, and who knows what's going to happen in the future? Who knows? Like especially with Turkey being a partner in Zuffa too. He'll want bigger fights to happen. He'll
Mhm,
want to put on big shows, and I doubt he's going to use the UFC Apex. You know what I mean? So he has the power to bring in outside fighters. He has the power to make things happen. So who knows? I'm definitely not writing off anything. You know what I mean? So
mm.
we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I think that was very weird for WBC to come out and say, because nothing has really been finalized yet. Nothing has been said from me anyway.
Yeah, were you disappointed that Mauricio come out and said those things so publicly about you, or is it just a case of him having to defend his corner?
Yeah, I think he has to defend his corner, but I think definitely could have been, I don't know, handle a bit different, I suppose. Maybe wait until we actually figure out what's going on, because well, maybe in the background they know and I don't. Maybe there's been some things said in the background that I don't know about, because
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm just a fighter. You know what I mean? They just tell me where to fight and I show up and I fight. I don't get involved with politics or this or that, or whatever. They tell me when to fight and I show up and fight, So
Mm,
I wouldn't say I would say what he said is a bit strange because at the end of the day, if they told me, all right, you're gonna go fight for this WBC belt, I'll be there fighting for it, you know what I mean? So
mm,
I just fight when they tell me to fight.
yeah. And are you aware then, kind of, I suppose, of the criticism then of Zuffa Boxing from within boxing and what people are saying about it, or is it just a case that people don't understand it?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be criticism, with something new, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter what you do, if it's new, it's going to be criticized, you know what I mean, until it's normal,
Mm,
and that's what I think with everything in life, you do something new and everyone's going to be like, ah, he's a clown, like, he's a fool, what's he doing, you know what I mean, and then it gets more and more popular and then everyone's doing it, you know what I mean, then everyone's like, oh, this is it. I think it's been very successful, if anyone watched the card last week, it was a great card, you know what I mean, the first one was okay. It was good. It was the first one. Um, the second one was even better. You know what I mean? There was some great fights on that, and I think it's just going to continue to grow. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just expect something to just show up and be great right
Mm,
away. You know what I mean? You can't, and I think what they're doing is unbelievable. I think the way they treat the fighters, you know, no matter what anyone says, they treat the fighters very good. You know what I mean? They definitely treat me and everyone that I have seen, you know, compared even with the UFC, you know, the UFC staff are working there too. They're running the whole thing the same as the way they do over there, and you know, it's just you don't see it in boxing. You
mm.
really don't, and I'm very happy to be part of it. I'm and you know, I'd be the first one to say too, like, oh no, it wasn't really ran the best. You know, I'd say, oh, it was kind of all over the place. You know, but it wasn't. It was everything went smoothly, and I think it's just going to continue to grow, and people are going to see like that this is going to be it in the future. You know, and there's going to be it's like a higher standard. You know, that stop.
Dog barking.
Yeah, and nothing.
Standard.
But yeah, I just think you know it's very good. You know, and I'm very happy to be
Mm.
over there. Definitely.
Have they got a date for you for your next fight, or is that still up in the air, or do you have a date
I've
in
been
mind you'd like to
asking
fight?
him, you know, I came out of the last one and I was fine. I didn't have a bruise on the face. I didn't
Yeah.
have anything. I didn't even have any pain in my body, anything. I was perfect, you know. So I told him, I said, you know, I'm ready to go again in a couple of weeks if you want. Get me
Hmm.
on whenever. And I think we'll probably be looking at the end of April or May, probably, hopefully.
Anyone in mind?
Whoever, you know what I mean? Just give me someone to fight and that's it. I'll show up, you know. No, they're after signing a couple of good names, you know, a couple of good fighters, you know, at the weight class, you know. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
You obviously want to stay busy, so you want to get a couple of fights in this year.
Yeah, I want definitely. I'm contracted for 3 for the year, but I'd like to get 4. I have a 3 minimum,
Yeah.
so I would like to get 4.
Keep you busy anyway.
Yeah, keep me in the gym, keep me out of trouble, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've been on to Dane about doing a Zuffa card in Ireland.
I don't know if you've seen it, but after my interview, I was pushing for a St. Patrick's Day card anyway
Hmm.
to start. And let me let this dog outside. Get out, get out. I
What's the
was
dog?
pushing for
What's the dog called?
Boogie, and he's
Yeah.
the worst. It's like him.
He's
Just go on.
gorgeous.
Go on. And then the other two are already out there. Go, go, go. Everyone up, everyone up. Go on. Get out, get out. But so I was pushing because I seen when I was in the ring there was I seen a lot of Irish boys in the crowd. You know, I seen
Yeah.
Thomas Carton was there. There was Carl Crowley was there. You know, there was a lot of Irish fighters in the building that night. You know, so I said, yeah, we could get a St. Patrick's Day card going. You know, they could sign a few Irish fighters. You know, and put something on for St. Patrick's Day. And I think that would be the beginning. You know, pushing towards
Hmm.
getting back to Cork. You know, if they're going to go, it has to be Cork this time. You know, it has to be. You know,
Hmm.
and they know that I want it. So I have a feeling Zuffa is going to be like the UFC. You know, where they travel all
Yeah.
around. They put on shows everywhere. It would make sense for them. So I'm hoping we can get back to Cork.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. That would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, Cathal Crowley's fighting in a card in Cork in a couple of weeks. Big Cork
Oh
contingent
yeah,
on that. Big Irish crowd and that. So I mean, like Cork boxing's in great shape, and Irish boxing as well. Callum is just continuing to improve.
yeah, definitely. You know, and I'm always pushing for it. You know, I'm always trying to put on for the Irish box, you know, because we do have some of the best fighters in the world, you know, and a lot of them aren't seen. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
the thing. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them are signed to small promotions, you know, in random places. You know what I mean? And they're not getting the promotion that they deserve. You know or they're not getting the fights that they need. You know what I mean? And I think Zuffa Boxing is the perfect place for it. You know what I mean? You're going to be put on worldwide. You're going to be treated you're going to be paid fair. You know what I mean? A lot of these smaller promotions, you know, you're fighting for nothing really. You know what I mean? You're just fighting just to fight. But Zuffa are paying everybody fair. You know, no matter what people say, oh, Dana doesn't pay the fight. You're getting paid fair. You're getting looked
Hmm.
after. You know what I mean? There's bonuses. You're getting, you know, no matter what about the gear. You know, you're not allowed your own sponsors, but it's fine. Did they make up for it? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You do get paid for wearing their gear too. You get an extra payment for wearing whatever they want you to wear. You know, there's you perform well, you could get a 50,000 bonus. You know what I mean? There's massive things. You know what I mean? And just the promotion alone. You know what I mean? And just being involved with a company that is legit, a company that is not just gonna throw you off to the side. You know what I mean? Somewhere where you have access to everything. I think it would be a good place for Irish fighters. You know what I mean? I really do, because a lot of them are turning pro and they don't really know what's going on. You know, they don't know what they're really doing. You know, they're signing to these managers and the managers taking a lot of money in and they're putting them on these small shows and then this Zuffa is a perfect place to be. You don't have to worry about managers, you don't have to worry about this or that. You know, you're signed to a legit company. So hopefully we can get back there, you know what I mean? Hopefully we can put on a show back there and get a bunch of Irish fighters signed and like I said, I think we have some of the best fighters in the world and we just need to show it.
Yeah. I hopefully see you fighting in Ireland soon, Cam. It's been a pleasure catching up with you, buddy, and I'll chat to you soon, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Cam.